There were times when it didn't look like a Bayonetta 2 was ever going to happen. Publishers and console makers were all quiet on the prospect of a sequel to Platinum's 2009 cinematic action fest. Unsurprising, given that even the developers themselves acknowledged that sales for the first Bayonetta were weaker than they hoped. So along came Nintendo to help offer a home to the hair-raising heroine, picking up her story right where it left off. Nearly 5 years after her first adventure, Bayonetta returns with the same fiery attitude and the kind of thrilling combat that made the 2009 outing a cult classic. The story for Bayonetta 2 is set up nicely in the game's prologue mission. Not all is well in Paradiso and Inferno, and Bayonetta must set off to find out why the worlds are out of whack, while also rescuing a fellow Umbra witch who sacrificed herself to keep Bayonetta alive. It's a story that's basic enough to grasp, but one that could be a bit grating to watch unfold. All of the characters give off a bit of a too cool for school vibe that can be annoying to sit through. Bayonetta has a quip for just about everything, which gradually loses its charm over time. Fortunately, the focus of Bayonetta 2 isn't so much the story. Battles in Bayonetta 2 come quickly and they come often, though Platinum is kind enough to avoid throwing enemies out there in overwhelming numbers. Rather, the enemies are kept to certain areas, allowing players to explore levels at their own pace. Combat is where Bayonetta 2 shines the most. Not only has Platinum mapped out the 3D beat-em-up style Devil May Cry-like combat to all the Wii U buttons, but it has even offered touch controls for anyone that prefers using the Wii U gamepad. It's not always intuitive, but touch combat is a nice option that proves to be fun to use at times. There are dozens of combos to master, each of which can help either pound enemies to paste or help out with crowd control functions. The fun comes in learning to master these combos in conjunction with Bayonetta's counters. Successful counters can automatically trigger the Witch Time mechanic, in which a bullet time effect is momentarily triggered to help start up new combos. Likewise, dishing out enough damage can either trigger the special Umbran Climax for maximum hair-based damage, or quick time prompts for over-the-top finishers and dispatch foes in gruesome ways. Combat feels generally rewarding, and it feels like it pays to get better. That's not to say any of it is easy, of course. Higher difficulties will require pretty much everything you learned, given that enemies can get more relentless, hit harder, and offer less of a window for counters. In other words, it's the kind of challenge that's become expected of Platinum. A lot of action unfolds on ground, in the air, or even underwater. Unfortunately, that means the camera can't always keep tabs on Bayonetta, and will sometimes prove to be your worst enemy in the course of battle. Since her combos move quickly and sometimes take her across the screen, the camera won't always show a willingness to keep up. The most problematic instances come during the aforementioned 3D flight sequences. These can be a bear to deal with, since some of the boss attacks will take up most of the screen, and the camera won't always adjust itself back to Bayonetta. Given the fast pace of everything that's happening all at once, losing Bayonetta to the camera at an inopportune time can lead to her getting hit. At a lower difficulty, it can mean the difference between a gold and a pure platinum medal. At higher difficulties, it can mean certain doom. Don't judge a book by its cover. It's easy to dismiss Bayonetta 2 given that the main character frequently gets fetishized throughout the entirety of the story. It's very easy not to take this product seriously. But beyond that, this is the most competent and addicting action games we've played all year. Platinum understands what it takes to create compelling combat in a vividly imaginative world, and they have the major knack for making combat encounters feel epic. We here at Shacknews give Bayonetta 2 an 8 out of 10. And for the full review of Bayonetta 2, be sure to head over to shacknews.com.